The therapist tells you that your parents are deeply concerned. They're freaked out is what they are, and I can't say I blame them. This latest altercation, I understand the boy had been bullying other students, but still, he may never be able to father children after what you did to him. The therapist wants to know if you have anything to say for yourself, but you sit there in sullen silence. Do you know what happens to boys who get expelled from school? Perhaps a trip to juvenile detention center would scare a bit of sense into you. You don't say a word about the Bowie knife inside an old teddy bear in your closet or the brass knuckles in the shoebox of a baseball cards. You certainly don't tell the therapist about the man you killed. Or perhaps you'd like to tell me where all of this anger of yours comes from, Tell me something, Frank. Tell me anything. Tell me what you want to be when you grow up. And only And in only 5 pages, Marvel tells you they no longer understand who the Punisher is, and that they want to destroy him.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Hey, True Believers, Englentine here. We're going to say a few words about Punisher number 2. Get this off my chest here. Those first 5 pages are freaking disgusting, and it proves that Marvel does not know who the Punisher is, who Frank Castle is. Frank Castle, by the way, he's been getting a whole bunch of crap from a lot of Marvel people. Apparently, they saw some cops with the Punisher symbol on their uniforms, and he's not a role model for cops. Oh my gosh, it's so bad, it's so horrible. We got to stop it. Oh my gosh, you just don't get it, do you? Seriously, the Punisher was created in the 1970s during a time where there was immense crime. And we saw movies like Death Wish, and we got a hero like the Punisher. Now, he wasn't exactly who he became. He was an assassin at the time. He ended up becoming somebody who fought crime through extreme justice or extreme violence because of what happened to his wife and his kids. He was a victim. He was a victim of a crime and he decided to turn it around. He decided to go after the people who did it. What we have here with these first 5 pages, first of all, they don't even know about what they're writing about, because you have a psychiatrist who is berating a little boy instead of trying to find out why he does what he does. He's sitting there insulting him when he should be really just letting Frank talk so he could try to figure out why Frank has these violent tendencies. But that's neither here nor there. Frank Castle is a good man who went to war, came home, started a family, raised a family, and then saw that family die in front of him. So he donned the guise of the Punisher and he went after the criminals. So he is the victim. He lost his family, and he wants to make sure that never happens to anyone ever again. He wants to be the hero, and the way to do it is to take these people out because, of course, he sees the system. He sees the villains go in to jail. He sees them come out very soon afterwards with very little to no repercussions. So, okay, he wants to put them down permanently. Whether you agree with that or not, that's who Frank Castle is. The criminals are the criminals here. Well, obviously Frank Castle is too, because he's a vigilante and he is committing murder. They do deserve due process, but as I said before, that due process usually puts murderers on the street, and he doesn't want that. So basically, he was there to serve what I like to refer to as a little Republican justice, to make sure that these guys do not hurt other people. A lot of people, it's kind of strange. A lot of the same people who would tell you that the Punisher is horrible and evil would tell you that Batman is responsible for all the murders that the Joker performs because Batman didn't kill him yet. I'm going to get to that one later. But here they are saying that, of course, the Punisher is horrible. They don't like the fact that the cops commandeered the Punisher symbol, so they gave him this ugly-ass, whatever that is. It's supposed to be a dragon of some sorts. It's ugly. It doesn't fit. And if you write the Punisher correctly, then that symbol is going to be exactly what the cops wear on their vest. You just don't understand the way the world works, doesn't it? It's like the idiots who say, no, I'm not a he, her, I'm a Z-zer. Same thing. It's the same freaking thing. You just put a different letter on the thing. It just, I don't get it. Anywho, there's so much to unlock as far as this character is concerned. Instead of writing him as the victim of a crime, they write him, and I kid you not, this is mentioned in the first and second issue, he's the world's greatest serial killer. And I guess that's what they're setting up by showing him as a child having murdered a man, having killed small animals as much. We hear that sometimes, that young kids who grow up to be serial killers and such took it out on small animals. So they're trying to lay that foundation as they talk about over and over. I mean, it's just on a loop here, the dialogue about how he's the world's greatest serial killer. It really is. It's like the only thing that they can talk about. Frank here tries to better himself, tries to use a sword like the others around him, and they say, no, just grab your gun and go kill people. You're the greatest serial killer of all time. Why are you trying to do it like this when you should be doing it your own way, because you are awesome as a serial killer? Did I mention you're a serial killer? And that is just repeated over and over and over and over again. So there's no real character to Frank. Frank is not an active hero in this book. Frank is being led around. This old lady here does not shut up during the book. And she basically points Frank to where he needs to go. Frank goes. Let's bring in this guy. Okay, yeah, that dude needs to be killed. Okay, he'll kill. Frank is not present here. This is all about the old lady. This is all about the hand. There is no character to the Punisher in this book. It's nowhere near a Punisher comic. I'm amazed that they've had the audacity to call it a Punisher comic. It's not even the same character. Anywho, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. You get what I'm saying about him. There you go. Not Frank Castle. They just don't understand. They don't understand who Frank Castle is. And it is kind of sad. It's kind of harsh when you love a character, when you've been reading him forever and a day. I remember first coming into contact with Frank Castle in the pages of Peter Park's Spectacular Spider-Man. And then they put him into his own miniseries and then his regular series, which just took off and was a lot of fun. It was a good time. And so we've had this character now for 40 years be a certain way, and it gets in the hands of these activists, these people who do not care about comics, the ones that'll look at you and go, but they're only fictional characters. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. If you only believe, if you're a writer and you cannot believe in these characters as three-dimensional, as real, then there's no way you're going to convince the reader that they're three-dimensional and real. And you're going to lose us. And that's what they've done here. They've lost us. They lost me for sure. They don't know how to write a story that's weighted. They don't know how to write this character, so they write this old woman instead. Have you noticed the word bubbles as we've been going through this? Have you noticed who's been speaking and who just walks around aimlessly? There's nothing to it. There's nothing to him. And this is done by these people who just truly have no freaking clue on how to write a Punisher comic book, or any, actually. I'm going to go out on that limb. There's very few, and this is Jason Aaron. Jason Aaron's getting all sorts of praise for his Lady Thor, or the Jane Foster Thor, whatever you want to call her. Not too many people actually call her Thor, because she's not. She's Lady Jane. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I call her anyway. Jason Aaron's supposed to be somebody to respect, and he's writing this crap? He's writing a 12-year-old kid has a woman come up and show all of these daggers and says, hey, one of these is yours. And then he doesn't remember when he's an adult? I mean, granted, I don't remember everything that has ever happened in my life, but there's smells, sounds, and such that might trigger something from when I was that young. And I'm pretty sure a woman coming up to him and saying, hey, is one of these daggers yours, that was kind of a strange occurrence that might have actually stuck with him, especially when he grows up and he sees the same old lady in the same old robes talking to him about how he's a serial killer. Maybe there might have been some bells and whistles, you think? I don't know. Like I said, it just seems like the thoughts that went into this kind of writing is what I call Dixie Cup deep. They don't really think about what they're writing, and instead of saying, okay, if we do this, then what are the true consequences? Where would this really lead to? They just think, or at least it seems like they're just thinking that, hey, this would be cool or that would be cool. And in this case, it really seems as if they're trying to define the Punisher as a villain now, the way they see him, rather than the hero that he would be, or at least the anti-hero that he would be. It just doesn't seem like they have followed their own story to the logical conclusion, and they're trying to write themselves out of it. And it's not fitting. It's not gelling. There just doesn't seem to be any real thing here, no real character. So you just have a caricature of what they believe or what Jason Aaron believes the Punisher to be. And unfortunately, when you do that, when you don't pay attention to story, when you don't pay attention to making something full and three-dimensional, as they do not believe these comic book characters to be, as they tell you over and over again, when you do that, you end up writing a really bad product. You write a bad comic book character in just a bad comic book. But that's just my opinion. What is yours? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget all the clickings and the likings, the sharings and stuff, and you don't mind helping out the channel, going over to Ko-Fi. Links in the description below. Also, check out the video that's popping up right next to you. You'll probably have a good time with that one as well. Like, thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.